grade lit today, and we're getting ready to read the Nun's Priest Tale. I just announced that the recitation for the quiz grade for the whole prologue, the first 18 lines, will be next Thursday, which is the 4th. Question?
What is an animal fable again?
All right, so we're going to review that. Glad you asked the question. We're going to review that. I may have to turn this around. I don't think you can see it. But anyway, the words are animal fable and heroic. And this Nun's Priest Tale is a fable. And what did we say a fable was? Aesop's fables, what do they all have in common? They're stories. But what's the purpose of a fable?
To give you a message.
Yes, how would you put it?
Like, I guess every story has like a moral.
Yeah, a moral lesson. And that's what fables do. And of course, animals do all the talking in it. That's the first thing. While we're at it, remember, mock heroic makes fun of heroic literature, or we call it epic literature. And we said there are 5 things to look for. Remember what they are? The larger-than-life character. First of all, it's a long narrative poem. This is not long, so that's one way that it violates that. It has a larger-than-life hero. What else does it have? Epics, poems like we've already read 2 of them this year. Yeah.
Elevated or lofty.
And that's the one we kind of focused on. This story has that, but it also should have an epic hero, which it doesn't have. It also doesn't have vast settings. It's not a long narrative poem, and most of them have something to do with a national, they're kind of associated with some sort of national hero or national virtue. So in this story, you have chickens and you have a fox, and but it's all written in this elevated style, which I think makes it, if you think about it, makes it funny. Or at least the characters talk that way. So let's turn there. With your help, we'll read it. I doubt if we'll finish it, but it's not that long. The Nun's Priest Tale. We didn't start this yesterday, or did we? All right, yes.
Where do we get our murder and mystery?
I have them right here. I just need, and I have some other things. Let's read for 15 minutes, and I'll give you some things back. I do want that back. I'm going to give you the Murder in Cathedral test, but I do want it back. Everything else I give you can keep. But would you remind me, if you can remember? I can do it in about 5 minutes. All right, the Nun's Priest Tale. Here we go. Once long ago, yes. I'm sorry, it's 2:14. All right, once long ago there dwelt a poor widow in a small cottage by a little meadow beside a grove and standing in a dale. This widow woman, of whom I tell my tale, since the sad day when she last was a wife, had led a very patient and simple life. Little she had in capital or rent, but still by making do with what God sent, she kept herself and her 2 daughters going. 3 hefty sows, those are pigs, no more, were all her showing. 3 cows as well. There was a sheep called Molly. Sooty her hall, her kitchen melancholy. What's melancholy? Sad. And there she ate many a slender meal. There was no sauce picante to spice her veal. No dainty morsel ever passed her throat. According to her cloth she cut her coat. Repletion never left her in disquiet, and all her physic was temperate diet. Hard work for exercise and heart's content. A rich man's gout did nothing to prevent her dancing. Apoplexy struck her not. She drank no wine, nor white nor red had got. Her board was mostly served with white and black, milk and brown bread, in which she found no lack. Broiled bacon or an egg or 2 were common. She was, in fact, a sort of dairy woman. So you're introduced to a character. She's not the main character, but she is a character, an old woman who's poor, lives on a small farm, has 2 daughters. Already, this is not the epic type setting, is it? It's not the vast setting. It's not a larger-than-life hero. So let's keep going. Megan, would you read the next one?
She had a yard that was enclosed about by a stockade and a dry butcher's out, in which she kept a cock called Trim is clear, and all the land because he was so clear. His voice was jolly and the word was known. And first on Sundays he would sit out growing. Far gone out when he was sick, regular to any clock, of every bell the drums of his heart.
The equinoctial. Equinoctial.
Wheel in its position, at each ascent he knew by intuition, at every hour 15 degrees of movement. He trudged so well there could be no improvement. His comb was redder than the fine coral, tall and battlemented like a castle wall. His bill was black and shone as bright as jet, like azure were his legs and they were spent on azure toes with nails of lily white, like burnished gold and feathers for his legs.
So we're introduced to the main character. The main character is Chanticleer, and he is a rooster. The beauty of this story is that Chanticleer and all the rest of the characters, although they're animals, they are treated like they're human beings. So what do we call that when you treat non-human things like humans?
It's not like personification.
It's certainly personification. So they're treated like they're humans. Notice what kind of people they're treated like. Remember, they're supposed to be a mock heroic. The second thing is, notice that they never stop being chickens. For instance, what is the one thing that we think of about roosters that they do? All right, so they crow in the morning. And that is the one thing we see Chanticleer, besides producing children, he crows in the morning and wakes people up. So it's his voice that is sort of his chief characteristic. And he knows the time, like, precisely. He knows what time to do it every day. Notice some of the words. Again, you can't write in here, but just notice it says his comb was fine coral, tall and battlemented like a castle wall. Notice the comparisons have to do with like medieval, which is what we're in, but knights and lords and ladies. You have a castle wall. You have, he's burnished. His feathers are burnished gold and flaming bright. So there's a lot of this exaggeration. So we'll find out a little more about it. So, Ian, would you read?
This gentle cock was master in some measure of 7 hens, all there to do his pleasure. They were his sisters and his paramours, colored like him in all particulars. She with the loveliest eyes upon her throat was known as gracious Lady Haircolor. Boyish she was, discreet and debonair, companionable too, and took such care in her deportment. When she was 7 days old, she held the heart of Chanticleer controlled, locked up securely in her every limb. Oh, what a happiness his love was! And such a joy it was to hear me sing, as when the glorious sun began to spring, in sweet accord, my love is far from there, for those far off days I understand, all birds and animals could speak and sing.
So we are getting a description of Prologue. So Prologue is his what? What is Prologue? Who is Prologue? His wife. Remember, he's a chicken. He's a rooster. They don't have wives, but he's being described like he does. So she's his. He is her husband, and he actually has almost like a harem. There are 7 hens, and she being the one he loves the most. So you see how it's personification. Her name is Lady Prologue. Says she was discreet and debonair, companionable too. So notice what kind of woman is she being compared to? What kind of woman is she? She says she's discreet, debonair. It's like a lady from an epic story. And again, notice that the language is elevated. So we'll go to Jude.
Now befell as dawn began to spring, when Chanticleer and Pergola and all his wives were perched in this four widow's hall. Fair Pergola was next him on the perch. This Chanticleer began to groan and lurch like someone sorely troubled by a dream. And Pergola, who hear him roar and scream, was quite aghast and said, "Oh, dearest heart, what's ailing you? Why do you groan and start? Fie, what a sleeper! What a noise to make!" "Madam," he said, "I beg you not to take offense, but by the Lord, I had a dream so terrible just now I had to scream. I can still feel my heart racing for fear. God turn my dream to good and guard all here, and keep my body out of durance vile. I dreamt that roaming up and down a while within our yard, I saw a kind of beast, a sort of hound that tried, or seemed at least, to try and seize me, and have killed me dead. His color was a blend of yellow and red, his ears and tail were tipped with sable fur, unlike the rest. He was a russet cur, small was his snout, his eyes were glowing bright, it was enough to make one die of fright. That was no doubt what made me groan and swoon."
All right, so we've actually done the first four, so make sure you're keeping up. Well, we've done the first three. This is about Chanticleer's dream. What does he dream about? Look back at it, if you don't. It's what, I guess, if chickens dreamed, this would be called a nightmare. This would be something that would be something chickens would dream if they did that. What does he dream about? Yes. Yeah, kill but him, yeah. So he had a dream about a beast inside the farm yard, whatever we call it, and this beast was going to, of course, trying to get at him. What kind of beast would this beast be? Like literally, what is it? It says a sort of a hound would have killed me dead. His color was a blend of yellow and red. His ears and tail were tipped with sable fur. Unlike the rest, he was a russet cur. Like, who is the born enemy of chickens? Yes, who else? Said this was like a dog. I don't know if it says that. It says a sort of a hound. It was a fox. So in these stories, the fox is, what is the characteristic of a fox? I mean, what are the traits of a fox? Like when you think of foxes, if someone's called a fox-like person, yeah.
Sly.
I wonder why they have that reputation. They must be that way. Have you ever? I actually saw a fox on Brown Boulevard once. I know they get in our neighborhoods. They're in Guilford County. Anybody ever seen one or had tangled with one? You have? They're not big, right? They do look like dogs, right? I thought it was a dog, and when I saw it, it didn't look like a dog. You know, it didn't look like any dog I'd ever seen. That's how I figured it was a fox. Wonder why they have that reputation, being stealthy and tricky. I don't know either. All right, let me read. For shame, she said, you timor. No, I need to assign the vocabulary, but you already got a lot going on. Poltroon is one of the words. It means coward. So I'm giving you update of that. For shame, you timorous poltroon. Now this is the wife. Notice how the wife is responding to her husband's dream because it scared the husband. That is Chanticleer, the rooster or whatever, rooster. For shame, she said, you timorous poltroon. Alas, what cowardice. By God above, you've forfeited my heart and lost my love. I cannot love a coward, come what may. For certainly whatever we may say, all women long, and oh, that it might be, for husbands tough, dependable, and free. Secret, discreet, no niggard, not a fool that boasts, and then will find courage cool at every trifling thing. By God above, how dare you say for shame and to your love that there was anything at all you feared? Have you no manly heart to match your beard? And can a dream reduce you to such terror? Dreams are a vanity. God knows, pure error. Dreams are engendered in the too replete from vapors of the belly, which compete with others too abundant, swollen tight. So how does his wife respond to his dream and his apparent fear of this dream? Yeah.
She says, you've lost my love, and she thinks that dreams are like cowardly.
And so he's a coward. He said, how could you possibly expect me to love a coward like you? And then you made a good point. She says, dreams are vanity, pure error, and the cause of them is your digestion. Do you remember A Christmas Carol when, what's his name? Scrooge, I forget. Scrooge goes to bed at night on Christmas Eve, and he sits down in front of the fireplace to eat. And you remember what he sees? You did read this, right? You've read it, you've seen it. What did he see? He sees Marley's ghost, right? And remember what he says? He says, I'm just imagining this. Marley's ghost is a figment of my digestion. He says, an undigested piece of beef. So it's this idea that if you're having stomach problems, it might give you bad dreams. And but the other question that we're going to have to deal with, we talked about this before back in when we were doing Song of Roland, I believe. What does she think of dreams? Dreams are vanity, pure error. And we're going to run out of time here. But what are dreams, and where do they come from, and what do they mean? Do they mean anything? We had this conversation, I believe, already, but here it is again. Yeah.
Yes, dreams come from God. They have a meaning behind them.
Well, would you say all dreams are?
Not all dreams, but
Well, God certainly used dreams in the Old Testament, primarily when there wasn't a readily available Bible around. The average person didn't have a scroll. Even the Israelites, they had to go to the temple and hear the scroll read. So sometimes, who did God speak to in dreams in the Bible? Remember some of the people? Yeah.
Jacob, the one time.
Yeah. When what? Go ahead.
Wasn't it like the stairway to heaven or whatever?
Yeah, right. The Jacob's ladder. Any remember anybody else? Remember Joseph? He had a dream that his brothers were going to bow down to him. And then the baker had a dream, and the cupbearer had a dream, and he interpreted Pharaoh's dreams. And same thing with Daniel. Remember, he interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dream. But what do you think? You said that they're from God. Do you pay any attention to them? Do you ever dream? So when you wake up, how do you deal with it? Do you think that it was important, or yeah?
Sometimes when I have like an important dream, I'll talk to my parents or write it down somewhere.
Well, writing it down will help you to remember it if you want to remember. I had to do a dream journal in a class in college, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night after I dreamed something, and I'd write it down because I never remember them. So I wrote it down, and I was able to do that assignment because I actually, woke up and wrote them down. I don't know what they mean. I don't know that they mean anything. She doesn't think they mean anything. And we are gonna run out of time. I wanna get you these things, so we just got started. I think if we're here Monday, and I want you to take things with you, if there is this forecast, mainly Peace Child, but, well, you don't need this, because we're gonna read this Monday or Tuesday, but please take Peace Child. Be prepared Monday or Tuesday if we're not here today.
Wait, what's up with Monday?
What?
With Monday?
Well, they just have some snow on Sunday, and you never know. Just be prepared for that.
Alright.